Hi, everybody. Welcome to a Prog Report podcast interview. I'm very pleased to welcome Styx member Will Evankovich to the podcast. Pleased to talk to you, man. Good to meet you finally.
Absolutely.
Well, we're
Absolutely.
here to talk about the new record, "Circling from Above," which you guys put out. I don't know if it's even out yet officially. It sort of is, right? It's sort of in a weird way. You can get it officially from your website, but I guess officially on streaming and other things, it's available like next month. Am I
Yeah, I
do I have that
think
right?
July 16th it'll be available on in all channels and that sort of
Okay,
thing. Yeah, we just
that's
wanted to
cool.
make it available at the shows and on the website and for the fans. So,
Yeah, no, it's cool. I get it. It's you got to try different things nowadays to get your music out there and expose it to people. And certainly on the road is a great way to do it, I think. I always appreciate that you guys have played something from the new records on all the last few tours, which not a lot of bands do, but I think it's great.
yeah, it's a great testimony to, James Young and Tommy. They want to support the new music and they really get behind it, which is really cool because we can put in a few cuts and still maintain playing all the hits. So, you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fascinated by the this sort of newer phase of the band, which you're a key element in. Because you guys have put out, this is now the third record that you've been involved with, The Mission, which was it 2017? Amazing
Mhm.
record. Crash of the Crown in 21, even better record. And Circling from Above, which is now. Um, they're all sort of these concise albums around 45 minutes. All the songs are sort of shorter, but they're just packed with so much music. It also gives you the ability to squeeze in maybe three or four of them sometimes live because the way they're written and constructed, I don't think they're in any way a song where an audience would be like, "Oh, not this song again. Let me go to the bathroom." You know what I mean? It seems they're punchy and just great albums.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, we really enjoyed making them.
Yeah. So I want to go back a little bit to your history with the band. For people that aren't familiar. I mean, I know prior to Styx, you were with the Guess Who, which is really cool. But talk about your involvement with Styx and how you got finally involved.
I was introduced to Tommy by Jack Blades because we were going out as Shaw Blades, an acoustic trio, and and that's where I made the introduction to Tommy, and we hit it off immediately. And about a few years later, after touring with that, he was making a bluegrass record called The Great Divide, and he asked for my help, and so I co-produced that with Brad Davis. But during that time, Tommy and I started writing stuff, and the chemistry was great, and these songs started popping out, and we really enjoyed working with each other, and that kind of parlayed a year or two later into the making of the Mission.
Was it a struggle sort of getting them to write another album? It had been a long time prior to the mission, right? And was it like, no, no, it's okay, we can put out a new album? I mean, were you trying to get him on board with it?
Well, I can't speak to why they didn't do anything for 14 years, but I think it was because, the record industry was in a state of flux,
Sure.
and I think they didn't know that people would be interested in new music for a while. But to say that Tommy or JY or any of the guys or Lawrence are not creative, they're always writing. And I think it needed to take a beat before Tommy realized, okay, I want to do this again, and I happened to be there at the right time, and we started crafting the songs.
Yeah. Um, what do you remember from the first sessions of the mission when it was finally, okay, we're going to make this album? You're in there recording with them. Was it interesting seeing how they work together in the studio? I guess that was, and how a Styx record is made.
For sure, because I think I started working with Lawrence and Tommy writing the mission, so I got to know him. I didn't really know the other guys that well, so it was interesting to see the process. And I think as a good producer, you need to see how the band, does their process. And after, you just see it, you kind of adapt to it. And that's what I did to see what made them comfortable. And it was a joyful experience making that record.
Yeah, that's gross. I mean, there's some tracks on there on that one. I'm sorry to keep going back to some of these older records. It's funny because I'm such a big fan of these last few albums, especially obviously the older stuff too. But recently I've been listening to like The Mission again, and just songs like Radio Silence and Greater Good, and some they're just so fantastic. I always want people to make sure, like, no, listen to these albums. They're really
Yeah.
good. Like, they're forget any preconceptions you have. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, so then a few years later, COVID hits, and you guys come out with, I think, one of the best Styx records ever, really, with Crash of the Crown. Top five album for me from Styx, easy. Um, Talk about the creation of that one, because I think it came out at a time where, again, people didn't know what was happening and looking for music to something to get you through the time. And I just found that album so important, lyrically, musically, just to get through that period. I thought it was a really powerful album.
Thank you. Yeah, it was funny though. Most of the record was done before COVID even hit. At least the songs were written. We were recording during COVID, which was kind of great. Gave us something to do.
Yeah.
But the songs were crafted, but they ironically have they were apropos lyrically to what was going on. It just that was kind of
Yeah.
a happy accident. And it was again, I throw an idea out, Tommy throws an idea out. We just kind of stand, and Lawrence as well, and we finish each other's song buds, as it were. And that one was just a collection of really great contributions by everyone.
Were you guys shocked at how the response to that one was? Because everywhere that I had seen, it was like album of the year stuff on all different websites and things like that. I mean, that must have been gratifying. Were you paying attention to that at all?
Well, we had heard that they went to Billboard's number one top rock album, and that was very gratifying. In an age where people don't sell as many physical copies of
Yeah.
anything, and you can't really get gold or platinum status, you can at least get that. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
We're very proud of that fact.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. Again, some amazing songs on there. Common Ground, Sound the Alarm, I think is just one of the best songs
It's
ever.
epic. Yeah, great
Yeah,
song.
just brilliant. Well, I definitely want to talk about the new record for sure. Again, Circling from Above, which you can get from styxworld.com, and again, will be out July 12th. You said
I
in a
think
few
it's the
weeks,
16th.
16th.
Yeah.
Um, this one is it's similar a little bit in sort of how it's constructed and presented, but musically, you guys do a lot of different things on this one, actually, right? I think the sort of the back half of the record has a lot of different instrumentation, big on the vocal harmonies. There's a lot of Queen kind of comes out in a bunch of the songs. So talk about the approach to this album, writing it.
Well, the approach was that there wasn't an approach. I think we just it was funny where in the past we wanted a little bit more of a thread to an album, especially with the mission because it was a storyline. This was kind of as Tommy puts it, this is like Rubber Soul, Rubber Soul by the Beatles. It's a weird collection of different types of songs. And I think one of the things we like is to make every record a little different. I don't want to repeat Crash of the Crown. We didn't want to repeat The Mission. We just wanted them to be great. And I think good songs stand up on their own. And this was kind of a collection of not misfits, but just different styles. And we were really okay with it. It goes all over the map, but I think it's a colorful journey, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, yeah. Where does for people that haven't heard, I mean, we may talk about some of these songs in a little bit of detail, but for example, "Blue-Eyed Raven," I think that's the sort of flamenco kind of style song. Is that do I have that one
That's it.
right? Uh, I mean, explain that song, because that song has the first half is kind of one way, and then it kind of stops and becomes something different. It's a really bizarre song. It works amazing. But how do you write something like that? Or and who wrote it, and how does it get presented?
Blueeyed Raven, occasionally Tommy, and I do the same with him, will send a fully fleshed out song. He did Blue-Eyed Raven sometime around Crash of the Crown, and he had the whole thing mapped out, and he played this awesome mandolin solo. And I just love the vibe. And the story was about his friend Chip's experience with this gypsy caravan and this girl, and she kind of signaled him to come along with them. And minute there, he thought about it, and the whole journey of the story is about the what ifs, the Robert Frost poem, and so it's a really colorful tale. And when he sent it to me, I'm like, I love this, and it was a little short. That was my. I'm like, a little short. What if we take it and we just rock it up,
Yeah.
And he was, that's great, let's do it. And so we at first, we were going to put a big guitar solo at the end when it's rocking out. And I'm like, well, it's a gypsy caravan. So we'll get a fiddle player and he'll play this amazing burning solo. And Aubrey Hain, a Nashville session fiddle player, came in and just smoked us. And everything kind of fell into place. There was a string arranger that I used on this record. I arranged the strings with him, but he's a one-stop shop string quartet, and he did these beautiful string arrangements underneath the flamenco gypsy vibe of the song. It was just a lot of fun to put together.
Yeah. It's a really cool song. Very different. Um, you also sing on a couple of songs?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Which ones? I think I
Um,
know, but I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, She Knows, which is on
Right.
side two as well, and then the second to the last song, We Lost the Wheel as well.
Yeah. We Lost the Wheels, another kind of different one. A rocker, almost. It made me think of like the Who, almost. Kind of a little bit. Talk about that song. I mean, are you writing those two songs that you're singing?
Yeah, I wrote those as well. The Who thing, it's funny you should say that. I mean, I was listening, I'm a huge Who fan, and I was listening to Who's Next again for the millionth time. And I was thinking, God, this production is so awesome. Instead of, raging electric guitar licks, Pete's just doing these acoustic things like on Bargain and these other songs. It's a really cool way to go about it. And I just, for fun, one day when I was writing this song, I said, what if I went Who's Next with this 100%? The crazy Keith Moon drums and Entwistle bass, and then I throw these acoustic guitar things everywhere,
Yeah.
and I channeled my best Roger Daltrey, which probably doesn't sound like him at all, but and
But it
that's how
totally
that's.
gives off that vibe. I mean, that's the total thing I got from it. It works. Yeah, really
Yeah.
cool. Another great song. Well, the single. We should talk about that because the video for it, the song is "Build and Destroy," and the video for it is out now. And it is, I guess, it is done through AI. It looks like, but next level. I think it's brilliant. I mean, some AI videos that I've seen in the past, people sort of are like, it doesn't look too good. But I mean, you guys look real in this thing, or as close, I mean, as close as you can do at this point. So I think it's done really well. Talk about that song and then how the video come about.
Well, the song, Lawrence Gowan sent the bones of the keyboard intro and the bridge and the kind of the proggy sections, and I threw down some kind of Floydian guitar stuff on it, programmed some drums that would be like Nick Mason, and then it was enough to get Tommy Lawrence and I in the room to finish the song. And it just happened really quickly and really naturally, patching all the lyrics, and it was a kind of a continuation to the first track, which is circling from above, thematically speaking, lyrically speaking, about man versus technology and that sort of thing. So it was great, and people think this is a concept record. I've seen online all over the place. It's a concept. The first two songs work together as a thread, and then the rest of it,
Right.
or it's not a concept record at all. But
Yeah.
people can believe what they want.
Well,
So
it's the way you guys present things. I mean, the artwork is cool, and the video, I get the video even be how it's done and presented, along with the lyrics.
right.
Sort of really does make you feel like it. I think.
For sure. And we kind of wanted to go with that Storm Thurgeson hypnosis type of album cover that has a couple of powerful images, like a flock of starlings and their flight patterns, and then a dilapidated satellite. Like that's working and that one isn't, that sort of thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Were always plans to make a new album after Crash, or was it? How long did it take you guys to decide to do yet another one?
Well, because we're always writing, like even now, there's probably songs being kicked around that might end up being, on another record. We just start writing. And then when we get to sometime around September, I'm like, guys, we got about, 9 or 10 songs really strong. We just need a few more. and then it happens that way. It kind of happens organically. If we have the songs, we start the process. If we don't say let's make a record and start writing.
Right. Are you writing on the road in like hotel rooms and demoing there, or do you take time once you have the bones of like 10 or 12 songs, do you book 2 weeks to the studio? Because you guys are always on the road. I mean, nonstop.
Yeah, we are, but we get a fair amount of breaks, and yeah, we're always kicking around ideas on the guitars in the hotel rooms and dressing rooms, but we we flush out the writing demos, and the writing demos got to be really good. Like this day and age, your writing demo has to be almost sound like how it's the finished product. Now, save you don't have these great musicians like Todd Sucherman or Terry Gowan playing on them yet. When they get to them, they just augment the whole process.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen you guys live a few times. Recently, maybe a year ago, it might have been with Foreigner.
Uh-huh.
And man, it's it's such a good show. And Lawrence is such an amazing performer. He's absolutely out of his mind on stage. It's so much fun to watch you guys. What's it like just performing with these guys night in and night out? I mean, is it is it ever difficult, or is it just always just a ball?
I always say you don't get paid to play, you get paid to travel. The hardest part of the road is just the travel. It's kind of a grind. But for that 90 minutes, all of us are having the best time of our lives. We love playing and we love the show. And no matter what kind of unrest is going on during the day, it makes
Yeah,
it all better. Not that
yeah,
there is, but just, the road, it's tough.
yeah. Do you do other stuff on your own, like solo wise, or producing other bands and things like that, or you don't even have time?
I have in the past, but yeah, this is kind of 100 shows a year. We're gone about 150 days out of the year. I have my band that I had for years, American Drag, which I put out a couple records with that. And then this whole thing kind of happened and the Guess Who happened, and I put out a record with the Guess Who. So yeah, there's not a lot of time, but I'm always writing. And if some of the songs don't really have a place for Styx or in Styx, if the guys don't feel it, I'll, put those songs out on my own or that sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song of the last sort of three albums you've been involved with that's sort of a favorite of yours?
Of the three, that's a
Yeah.
tough. Well, I love. I'm gonna go to the new record because it's most recent. I love those other records. I put my heart and soul into them. But only you can decide off of Circling from Above is a beautiful song. Another one that Tommy sent, almost fully formed. It's just got some mojo and magic, and it's a great completion to the album. So that's probably one of
Yeah.
my what's my favorite now.
What would be your favorite Styx albums? Yours, maybe notwithstanding, just your top two or three Styx albums from the career, if you have any.
Well, Grand Illusion is just a masterpiece, and right
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
we're playing the album down in its entirety. So right now, I'm feeling that's just a genius piece of work, along with Pieces of Eight, of course, which is another great album. They had so many great albums from that time that that I would I'll be bold enough to throw the Mission or the new album in there
For
because
sure.
they stand on their own. I mean, this is the chapter of Styx now. There are people that may not like it. That's fine. There's a lot of people that do, and we are really enjoying the work we're putting out, and we hope other people do as well. But yeah, I'd say a couple of those Pieces of Eight, Grand Illusion, and then these records.
Yeah, it works for me. I mean, I was listening to Grand Illusion just the other day. I'm sort of revisiting all the albums in preparation for this podcast that we're going to do because it's been a while since I listened to some of them. And as well as that album and some of those hits, because you can't go a day without hearing "Come Sail Away" on the radio or somewhere.
Sure.
But when you hear those songs in the scope of an album, that's when it becomes fascinating to me how like there was a time before that song didn't exist. You know what I mean? And
Right.
then one day someone wrote this and it's insane to think that song came together. These group of people wrote that song. That's the thing that I think is most fascinating because sometimes you feel like you're maybe sick of hearing a certain song, but you can't deny when you hear it in that kind of context how amazing it is. Do you have that same sort of effect when you're playing some of these songs live, or where it's just, this is genius. How was this ever made?
And sometimes it's an emotional process. Like some of the songs really just, so every night when we play the Grand Illusion, Man in the Wilderness is just an absolute joy to play. It's so heartfelt and emotional. And it has, Tommy's connection with his brother going to Vietnam. My father went to Vietnam. There's all these other things that tie into it, but just the melodies and the emotion that gets put into that one every night is wonderful.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, listen, man, congrats on all your success with the band. I'm a big fan of all these bands. You, Kansas, whoever else is still doing it, writing new music, getting some new members in there if you have to, whatever it is, because I think, you got to keep these bands alive and keep bringing this music to people because fans want to see it. And I think it's great.
That's
And you
great
guys
to
do an
hear.
amazing, you do an amazing job with it. These albums are amazing, regardless of what era this is and all that nonsense. And I try to always stress that to people, like, no, this is great. It doesn't even matter. Take the name Styx off the cover if you want. It's great.
Right. Well, music is music, and I don't think it has an expiration date. So,
Yeah.
if people are digging it, we're really happy to be doing it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good luck on the road. I hope to see you guys again on the road real soon. Again, Circling from Above is out. You can go to Styxworld.com and pick it up. And check out the video, Build and Destroy. Really cool video out now on YouTube and all that stuff. All right, man. Hey, enjoy the rest of the tour.
Thanks, Roie. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. See you.
See you later.
Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on all our socials and ProgReport.com. And we'll see you all again real soon. Thanks.